Recently, I asked myself why no one speaks or even makes eye contact on the streets anymore. I wondered if past generations were more sociable, so I decided to speak to my grandparents and great-granddad to ask them what society was really like when they were younger. What do you think of society nowadays? How much contrast do you reckon there is between how people act outside today and how people used to act outside when you guys were growing up?
I suppose people are more on their guard now than they used to be. In our early adult days, most people that you met were not unfriendly towards you. You didn't suspect that if you stopped and spoke to somebody, you would get a knife in your chest, sort of thing.
Yeah. Nowadays, you could walk down the street where you're not known and you could not a soul will speak to you.
Yeah.
In the good old days, you used to bump into somebody and you'd apologise, or you'd sit on the buses. In the days, my days, the tram.
Yeah.
You always chat to the bloke next to you.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you sit on the bus or the tram and nobody wants to know because they get those things out.
Yeah.
They get these, how'd your father things
smartphones.
out.
It seems one major thing that interfered with society was the smartphone. I'm sure at some point in your life you've thought or been told that you spend way too much time on your phone. Most people choose to pick up their phone to check what their family and friends are up to. But do they really choose to spend hours on end scrolling through news feeds and forgetting about time? I interviewed some people in Solihull to get some insight as to how much we actually use our phones. Yo there guys, I'm joined here with
Tim.
Joseph.
My name's Phil Knight.
Aggie.
Lee.
Julian.
Mike.
Joseph, how old are you, mate?
I'm 17.
53.
37.
41.
44.
18.
57.
And do you have a phone, mate?
I do, yes.
And how many hours a day do you reckon you use it?
Probably 3 or 4 hours a day. At least 5.
About 5.
I run a business off my phone.
Yeah.
3 hours a day.
It's hard to say, you don't actually count it, but it seems to be like 3, 4, maybe 5.
Between 1 and 2, probably.
What do you think about society nowadays, the way they use their phones and stuff?
Personally, I think people are probably on their phones a little bit too much. People don't tend to talk much anymore. It's all texting on sort of, social media and stuff.
We're a lot more impatient. Definitely a lot more impatient. Body issues have definitely increased.
They've got more time for the phones than they have for each other.
I think they use it too much, yeah. However, we can't help ourselves, to be honest. Nowadays, it's just all the time. Yeah, this is what we do. We shop through phones, we pay, we do everything. We socialise even over the phone, which is sad, but yeah. I think too much.
Okay, right. They have their uses, but it's getting almost to the point of saturation. There's the point of work-life balance. The obvious one is there's with smartphones and also with the internet. Effectively, it's an uncensored medium. So you've got lots of interesting things and also lots of disgusting things and even dangerous things.
Well, it's I worry about people walking around with them and not looking where they're going. I worry about my children spending too much screen time and the blue light. I worry around we introduce young babies to phones too early so they don't see their parents' eyes when they first get baby home. So I just think we have to be aware of some of the risks, and I think there's just a bit more research in and make sure that we're just a bit more safe on a general basis on a day-to-day, but they're absolutely revolution.
People joke about getting addicted to their phones, so I did some research. The truth is, most social media websites are designed to keep you looking at them, set up in a similar way with an easily accessible newsfeed or explore page. Due to how your brain works, it's easy to lose track of time when scrolling through these pages. Here's why. Dopamine is a neurohormone formed in your brain, released to promote pleasure. This is why it's earned the title of our feel-good hormone. Dopamine is released every time we're enjoying something. So when we're scrolling through a page of unpredictable content and enjoying said content, our brain is constantly releasing dopamine, creating pleasure and keeping us looking at the screen. I'm not saying you should time yourself when you're on your phone, but next time you get an impulse to pick up your phone, think about how much time you want to spend on it, and if there's anything more productive you can do with the next hour or so, instead of getting your eyes glued to a screen.